Welcome to Cinema Club. Hola. We are here this week with my pick, Living in Oblivion, which is from 1995. It's Tom DiCilio's film. The director and writer. I think it was his second feature he did after his first feature was a box office bomb, which starred Brad Pitt. This one stars Steve Buscemi, and it's Peter Dinklage's feature film debut. Has Catherine Keener in it. And I picked this film because it honestly just had popped up on Instagram. I saw a clip of one of the dream sequences popping up on Instagram, and I thought this looks interesting and weird and unique. It had Peter Dinklage, Catherine Keener, and Steve Buscemi in it. And I was like, those are all actors I really like. And I have never heard of this movie from 1995 and this weird fever dream kind of looking movie. So looked it up, saw that it was has a pretty cult-like following among cinephiles, and a lot of people who work in the industry think of it as their kind of how musicians look at Spinal Tap. It's like a movie that's about indie filmmaking. And so I didn't really know anything about it going into it, except that I heard it was good. It looked interesting, had actors I liked. It was 90 minutes, which I like that number, like a nice short movie. So that's why I picked it, and I'm really glad I did. I have lots of thoughts, but let's have somebody else do their first impressions, their first thoughts. Let's go with Dino.
Hey. Wow. I believe it's the first time I've seen this film, but it has that 90s style. And again, we've been watching some movies lately that you can see the film grain. And I mean, clearly the start of the black and white, that was really texture with the cigarette butts and everything on it. I enjoyed the movie. I'm glad it was only 90 minutes because I don't know how much longer I could. I mean, there was so much anxiety. I don't know if because we've been around different aspects, I feel like the majority of us in El Club that we're in of movie making in one aspect or another, or entertainment. So yeah, it was super interesting. It was great seeing I was like, of trying to figure out, are we in a dream? Are we in real life? Because it's like, oh, when they're filming, it's in color, but then when they're not, it's black and white. So that's just how the real world is, like black and white and gritty and dirty. And then it's like, whoop, we flipped it, and it was for the other way. And then so yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very interesting because then after that initial shift and knowing that it had been a dream, then you're on your toes and you're like, is it a dream right now, or is this reality, or is this that person's dream? And yeah, and it, not only did it deal with anxiety as a watcher, but also each role in the production had their own anxieties. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was super cool. It's one of those. I was thinking of, you said Spinal Tap, Christopher Guest, and
Mm-hmm.
also the one I'm thinking of is For Your Consideration,
Yeah.
that Christopher Guest also had. And so this one's a little bit grittier,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the For Your Consideration is more humor
Right.
on. But it made me think of those movies as well, as like, that's what I wrote down. One of my favorite bit is whenever the camera would turn around and everyone's like huddled around the camera, right? So you have
Yeah.
the cinematographer, you have the director, you have the all the different techies next to it. So that kept being my favorite moment, is whenever it looks over and you have everyone just like waiting for a direction. And it's, yeah, very interesting, the pullback of the curtain, looking into the creative part.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Steve, what are your first impressions?
My first impressions is um so when I started watching the actual film, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be the film for me. especially after the repetition. But then I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then I was like, oh, it's a dream. And then okay, now I'm following, and now I'm getting into a story, and I'm like, this dude's being a diva, and I'm vroom, 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 swooping into this incredible world. And I think for people like you and me, uh, this film, there's a lot of value in this film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it will actually work this film with people that are not inclined into actual film production and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just wonder because this time I watched it by myself. Normally I watch it with other people that are not in the world of filmmaking and stuff. But I watched it by myself, and I just kept thinking of that of like, oh, I'm into it because I understand. Like even, and I know we're gonna possibly discuss it, but I'm just gonna say it right now. One of my favorite scenes definitely was the room tone. Like
Oh God, so fun. So
But
good.
like but like for someone that's not has never worked in film production ever or doesn't know the process or anything, I don't know if they will even get that, like they will.
Yeah.
But for
And
me,
it's
I
a
was
great joke. Yeah.
like, this is amazing. This is such a great scene.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, overall, I thought it was a great movie. I like the playfulness, like Dino mentioned, with the colors, the black and white
Mhm.
and all that, and then switching it back and forth and stuff. And yeah, this film, but it just had a lot, and at the end, it dealt with the core of the meat of like even when I was taking improv back in the day, what they were saying Second City all the time about the relationships, and that's what I really liked about the film more as well. Is like it was
Mhm.
not about making a production, but it was about the relationship amongst the people
Yeah.
surrounding that and the chaos of the set and all that.
Yeah.
So great movie.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed this. I wasn't sure at first. I'm not crazy about black and white in general. It has like black and white, it has to be a really great movie for me to like black and white. I don't love it. So when it started off in black and white, I knew that there would be color in it because I had seen a little clip of it before. So I was like, I know that there's some color in it. And then that happens pretty quick that the color comes. So I was like, okay. And then I got into it and I thought it was really cool. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting because the whole beginning, it's so grainy, like you said, and I was like, oh, this is clearly shot on like 16 millimeter. It's very, very grainy, which I was initially thinking like, I know this is a low budget movie. It could have just been done because it was low budget, but then they switched to 35 after that first initial dream sequence when they switched the color and the black and white and things like became a little bit more crisp. But I really liked how it looked aesthetically. I liked that they played with that stuff. I thought that was interesting that they switched film from 16 to 35. And I thought that they leaned in really hard to it being a comedy and like with the bright colors and the absurdity. And I really enjoyed that. I like when a movie tells you what it is, and it felt like it wasn't a comedy with, about anxiety of filming and all the different anxieties that you have and all the different relationships and everything. And yeah, like you said, Steve, I loved the relationships of the different characters and how throughout the movie we got to see different bits of it. I kept laughing at like little moments with the characters, and I kept thinking like this writing is so good because this is how people on set talk. Like, one of the very first scenes got me hooked right away was when Catherine Keener she's being driven to set by the guy, and the guy in the front is like, oh, so today you're filming the scene with your mom. And he's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to yell at her? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to feel it out. And I'm going to use like my real experience with my mom. And like the way she was talking about it, it felt so exactly the way that actors talk. I was like, this is how actors really talk to people. This is really authentic. It didn't feel forced. It felt like you could see her insecurities, which like all these actors you could always see their insecurities. Like they're wondering if they're good enough. They're wondering if they're going to do it well enough. And like, and even like down to what people were wearing, I thought they nailed it as far as like the boom op had like that little stupid crop top on. He looked like a surfer bro. And then like the lighting guy with like the rattiest shirt that you've ever seen in your life, like with pins all over it. I just like loved all those little details of the characters, each being so rich. So that's, you know, if you work in film, you're like, yeah, I know all of these people. So I wonder that too, Steve, if like somebody who's not in film would enjoy this movie the way that we enjoyed it and I enjoyed it, because like we had the context of like what it's like working on an indie film. But there were some moments that I think were just like laugh out loud funny that I think if maybe you aren't in film, you could enjoy, especially for me, like the stuff with James LeGrosse's character, the Palomino guy, Chad Palomino, I'm trying to remember his name, because he's so absurd and ridiculous, and everyone kind of has their idea of like what a movie star is like, and he brings that movie star energy. So I feel like that's that whole scene with him. I think anyone would enjoy that scene. That was really fun. I love the way he kept yelling at Wolf, the Dermot Mulroney character, behind the camera and being like, "Wolf, Wolf man, lone wolf, let's go, Wolfie."
I wrote the one line, "Roll that motherfucking camera, Wolf!" And he just like, "Kiss my ass."
Yeah, and him just like constantly, I was like, the cranky cinematographer, even that, they nailed it. Like the cinematographers are always like kind of dicks and like kind of removed.
Well, and then this one, he had another layer, right? Because they're all sleeping together.
They're all sleeping together, which is also so accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, to a certain extent. And then, you know, his girlfriend, the PA, or no, stage manager.
The AD.
Assistant, yeah, AD,
yeah.
assistant director.
Yeah.
You know, also, she has a troll shirt on. Oh my God.
Which I died. I was like, I loved that shirt. I was like, that's such a weird choice. So funny.
That was
it was like a trolls all over, like on fire. Yeah. It was like really ridiculous.
With guitar, I think it was a
guitars or something. Yeah.
But I'm just like, that is so 90s. And here I got my clothespin. And a tattered up shirt. So yeah, it was so they all had the insecurities, and she's like putting on perfume because she's gonna go to the jazz club, and that kept coming up, and it's like in every dream. That's the other thing that I really enjoyed, which is I think what is true was the same beats are happening in every
dream.
Like the jazz
there's
club.
Obviously elements of this that is real that like happened that they're pulling from their
the relationship. So then I was thinking, and this might be too much of us being nerds, but I had a feeling, the game of new choice, right? That's in improv, but also theater and stuff like that, which comes from more directly Rashomon. You know, the Japanese movie Akira Kurosawa, Toshiro Mifune. It's the one that catapulted him to fame and Cannes Film Festival and all that. So I don't know if you've seen Rashomon, but it's a similar in the sense of you get the story from the guy, from the woman, from the robber, and then I think there's even a spirit that says kind of what happened. And so it's kind of like, so what's the true true part? And this could be one of those instances of like, okay, they're all like, I had this dream, I had a dream, and it's like, okay, so which one is reality, right?
It's funny because in this movie, like I feel like when that happens in movies, like you know, in David Lynch, when you're watching like a David Lynch film and you're like, I don't know, my reality is distorted now, I don't know what's a dream or what's real or whatever, it's like kind of disconcerting and like makes you feel uncomfortable and uneasy as an audience member. This one didn't make me feel uneasy. I felt uneasy from like the anxiety that I was feeling from the characters. Like I would get like anxious, which was real and made the film, I think, even funnier and better. But I didn't feel like unease in knowing which was the dream, what was not. I was more just enjoying it and enjoying these, because I felt like I was like, obviously elements are real and we're getting somewhere, and like the story felt like it was still progressing. So I didn't feel like so confused by it. I was like, well, I'm enjoying it, and I'm happy to know that some of these things are probably real. And
well, then the lighting guy, right? So she's working at the diner, right? Or she has that moment like, crap, this is it, I'm at the diner or whatever. And then the lighting guy, his
daydream is like a burger.
A burger.
I laughed out loud at that.
Wearing the same thing, and just like, Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have to do anything else. Like
Yeah.
I'm good with the simple things in
The
life.
daydream moment at the end, like that, like you said, Steve, that being your favorite. Did you say that was your
Yeah.
favorite scene, Steve? The
Yeah,
room tone?
room tone. 30
Yeah.
seconds.
I love that. And that was like such a perfect, I felt, ending to this movie because you do forget about room tone. You forget about it when you're watching the movie and you forget about it when you're on set. And like you get the shot and you're like, all right, yes, let's move on. And the sound person's always like, wait, we're not done until we get this one more thing. And we all have to like stand still and you are kind of just like have all this pent up energy that you were just, we've got finally got the shot or we got to move on
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And I loved like having that moment of tension and seeing them all have their little daydreams. I thought that was like the perfect ending.
And they've done it. They've played with it so well that it's like it's gonna mess up. They won't be able like that. Like try not to laugh. Thing or who can stay quiet the longest or whatever. But it's like 30 seconds, and it's everything has been going wrong. Right? They've been messing up shot after shot. So you're like, someone's gonna mess up these 30 seconds. Like.
Yeah.
And the mom's like actually going through the door. It's like
that was so fucking funny. I laughed out loud at that too. I thought that was hilarious that they did because as soon as I saw her walk towards the door, I was like, she's gonna go through the door. She's gonna go through the door. Yes. I was like, that's so
I didn't
silly.
even think about it. I was like, oh crap, yeah, she did mention
because she
that.
said, I can walk through doors or whatever, and it was her face too. She was like,
I mean, such great visual, like all the characters, because then it's also just like, and this is where I think people could connect, even if it's a little bit the office kind of mentality. You have all the different kind of characters that you're dealing with, and that if you're ever had to manage a group of people and you have your divas, you have your this, you have the people like we got to try my idea, right? Or,
yeah.
The whole time he's like, oh, I can do it handheld or whatever, like you having to wrangle all these different personalities and stuff like that. I think people can relate. Although I feel like people probably could relate with this. Muggles probably could relate with this movie more in the 90s than now, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
Unless I feel, although you have the show The Studio and you have more behind the scenes stuff, but as a movie, I feel this hit more back in the day. Like, I don't know why, I just have it just felt more of its time. Also with the dream sequences, I was thinking of Drop Dead Fred, and all these, and then of course it's like, have you seen a dream of? Then I was thinking Happy Gilmore, because I was like, when he's in his little happy place, there is a little person, a little dressed as a cowboy, in Happy Gilmore, and I'm like, wow, yeah. I was like,
I thought that scene was so great. That was so well written, and I guess like I read somewhere that Peter Dinklage had refused to like play roles about being a little person or a dwarf, whatever, because they call him a dwarf in the movie before that, but he only agreed to do it because of it commenting on that. And I thought that was really interesting because he's such a fabulous actor, and like even this being his featured debut role, I was like, I just loved the way I don't remember the line he said when he walked off set, but he said some like, you can kiss my ass or whatever it was. And he walked off set saying the line. And I was like, man, even that delivery was so unique and so funny.
And let me say, he looks the same.
He does look the same. He does. He's got a little white in his like beard now, but he does look the same. I thought the same thing. I was like, this man doesn't age.
I love the first time he goes around in a circle. It's like, and we need the laugh. It's like,
he's like, I did laugh.
Really?
That was so good. He's like, I laughed.
He's like, what kind
of laugh do you want? Like, what do you want?
I didn't notice it. And it's
that was really funny. I like that whole thing. I liked him calling him out on the little people being used as like props for dream sequences. And I like that Steve Buscemi like took that in, like sat down and was like,
even his line of even when I dream, I don't dream of
yes. I don't dream of dwarves. Like, yeah.
The only time I've seen dwarves in dreams is watching on TV or in a movie
mhm.
a dream sequence. So
Just so interesting because I don't have little people in my dreams either.
and I had some, so even that, right? Again, it is kind of this absurd comedy, but there is
I had,
this
I had
depth
dreams
to
where
it.
I was little.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had dreams like that. I'm always
You
like pregnant or like,
Oh
it's
really?
like
You
my
want to
greatest
talk about
fear.
it?
So I'm like,
you never had a dream when that you were again like a little kid?
no,
Like a
I'm always
kid,
like
or like
naked in the street or pregnant or.
like a little kid, or that it's your body but miniature size?
Yeah.
That too, both of those things.
Wow. What's going on in Steve's brain?
Yeah.
I do want to know, since we talked about it, since you mentioned it, Steve, you said that was your favorite scene, at the end with the room tone. What about you, Dino? What's your favorite scene?
Well, I did write that one down as being a great part to
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, let's see, what else did I? Well, I did mention just the shots of the crew standing there. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought was a great part to it. And I like the lines a lot. The like you said, you know what okay, I'll go with this one just because it's different. It is the Palomino Palomalo, whatever. Just the
Yeah.
cockiness of just like, let me try to get the like, I'll come by the
Lay
bed,
down.
and lay down, and him like trying so hard,
Yeah.
like,
Him changing the
uh,
blocking every time.
yeah, and then finding the like turns around and has the eye patch,
That
and it's
is
like,
that is my favorite scene. And because that moment, I laughed so hard. That was my biggest laugh of the whole movie when he turns around and he's got the eye patch on. It is so absurd and ridiculous. It's just like, that's like pure slapstick comedy. He's like, where's my eye patch? I can't find, like Wolf's like, where's my eye patch? I can't find my eye patch. I've lost my eye patch. And then he's just standing there and then just turns around and he's got the fucking eye patch on and he hasn't like said anything like, I have your eye patch or whatever. He's just revealed wearing it. I'm like, this
yeah.
is so silly and so like believable in a way, because you believe that this is this movie star who thinks that like everything is his and everything is available to him and everyone's going to cater to him because they are catering to him, and he's like, well, I want to wear the eye patch, I'm going to wear the eye patch. So
And so
silly.
that, because then that leads into the, well, the eye patch might have come right after it, maybe, or depending on which dream. But when she hears that they're, shit talking her and his insecurity, because she's the one that was like, oh, but that was in a dream also, right? That was in that dream.
But that also could have again been something that happened that was
Right,
just
right. But not wanting, like, knowing that it's a one night stand, or knowing like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, we're not doing anything. And so her being like, okay, like, improvise the scene, and he's like, that's how I work. And the whole time it's like, he's like, improv is horrible.
It's horrible.
When
I
they're
love
finally
that.
like, when he's finally like, yeah, just come up with stuff. It's that stiff acting thing of like, just repeat the same line over again and again, and then her just nailing him with it was, yeah. He's like,
Also, really quickly before I forget, I have to just say, like, I loved the eye patch thing when the way that Steve, it's gonna make me laugh. Steve Buscemi like got him to not wear it was by pulling him aside and being like, I didn't want to tell you, it makes you look gay. And like, and then he looks over at Wolf and he's like, sees the eye patch on him and he's like, you're right. This thing makes him look gay. He's like,
I
thank you.
missed
Good
that.
call, man. It's
I was
so
what?
funny. I love that.
I missed that line. I was like, what did they say? And
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop it and go back.
It's such a
But
90s era like joke, and it's so of that time. Like the worst thing ever
right,
would be like a straight movie star having people think he looks gay
right.
or whatever, and Steve, like, Steve's character like catering to his ego and knowing that and being like, it makes you look gay, I don't want to tell you.
Well, that was the thing. Him trying to, wrangle everyone, and Wolf with,
Yeah.
I mean, oh man,
Yeah.
Wolf with that, the leather vest and the the tie on it, and he's got the beret, and
His backwards beret, and how pissed he was the whole time. Shut up, asshole, or whatever.
Well, basically, he was pissed because his girl was into. Oh, and then the mom lifts up the eye patch, and he's got the tears.
Oh my
going,
God, that was so good. I love that. Her lifting it up and the tear just falling down. I was like, God, that's funny. Because the first tear already got me. I already was laughing at that. And then when she lifted up, I was like, no, it's so silly.
Or the line of Steve telling him, like, you have a great eye. I hope it's not the one under
your eye patch. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's,
a lot of really funny moments. Yeah.
What I got an input here. What was like your favorite trope of like, since we all have film backgrounds, what was your favorite trope from like a film or like a classic thing that happens on set?
That's a really good question. And I think for me, it was the insecure actor needing to have their ego stroked. And that was so much of the movie, but I really loved, like, especially Catherine Keener, the way that she portrayed feeling insecure. Like, her acting was so good. I've always loved Catherine Keener. And I guess, like, I read that Tom DiCillo, the writer director, wrote this originally as like a 30-minute showcase for her. And then it became a feature. And it had like no funding, and he had to he didn't want to ask for any funding. So especially after his first film was a flop. So he asked the actors if they would do it for free. And she did. And so did her husband at the time, Dermot Mulroney. They put in their own money to help fund the film because they wanted to be part of the film. They wanted to make it happen. And she was so good. She was, she's really young, and I haven't seen her in anything from the 90s because I only really first learned about her, I think, when I saw 40-Year-Old Virgin for the first time. And then she kind of came on my radar. And I love her. But yeah, I haven't seen like a young Catherine Keener before. And I was like, God, she's so stunning. She's stunning physically. She's beautiful. And she's stunning as an actor in this. She's just stunning all around to me. And I think like she captures that insecurity feeling so well, and you see it in those like little moments with her, like in between the takes, and how she's trying to find it, and how she's like really beating herself up, and she's really affected by everything going on in her environment, which you see with actors on set. Like, you always see this on set. So I feel like she just nailed that, and I loved that recurring in every dream sequence. Like, that was always coming up, and that is just like, movies live and die based on actors feeling insecure on set and not having their ego stroked enough. So I thought that was just so, like, that was my favorite trope, I think. Although there were a lot of little ones, but that was like a big one, and I really enjoyed that. What about you guys?
I'm going to mention mine. I'm going to say the dude pitching his script.
The lighting guy pitching his script.
The lighting guy pitching his script, he was like on top of that until even the dude was knocked out. Like, yo, you called me or whatever.
Yeah, and he puts it like in his jacket in the car, and like the way he's like describing, like, it's a tsunami film and you're the one that saves the day. And I was like, I kind of want to see that movie.
And then I got an honorable mention. I mean, part of this same character, when we were doing the dream sequences at the end and he's just thinking about a burger.
Yeah.
I absolutely lost it.
Yeah, that was so funny. I love that.
For me, one of them, because I kind of agree with you guys, but the idea that, again, being an indie movie, the driver is in a beat up station wagon, just picking up people. And I think of not just like small productions, but 48-hour film, little competitions and stuff like that. Even when I was living in Alabama, it was a 48 hours sidewalk film festival. Shout out. I'm sure it's still going on. But yeah, so it was just like, get in whatever car and just fill it up and whatever. And just the fact that they're like picking up the director and the star, and the guy driving doesn't even know that that's the director.
Oh, I know. I love that. How did you get into cinematography? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and then immediately just goes, how'd you get into directing?
Yeah. So I thought that was very much kind of a situation or a stock scenario as well. Just like
Yeah.
random driver that probably could care less what they're also doing. They're like, I gotta drive people. That's what I'm doing.
They did do these tropes really, really well. Which I really do wonder, Steve, like you said, like if people who aren't in the film industry would appreciate it on the level that we did, because a lot of these are like, as a film person, like, oh God, that's so funny. They like nailed that. I want to know about favorite characters. Do either of you have a favorite character? I can go first. That's tough because initially I really loved Catherine Keener's character. I think that she was maybe the most intriguing for me to watch, like, because I just think she was doing a lot. And I also think, like, at first, in the very beginning, when the movie part is shot in color and the real life is in black and white, and she's like, when you do the first takes with her, you're like, oh, she's not a very good actor. And I always think that's so interesting and difficult to do as an actor, to like be an actor in a film, pretending to be an actor in a film that's like not very good, and having the awareness, but then how she like gets better once she's connected with her partner. I thought that was really interesting. So she was very intriguing to me, but I think like overall I'd have to say my favorite character was Chad Palomino, because he was like the most fun. He was just so funny. And like also James LaGrosse is like not classically handsome. He's kind of goofy looking. He's got like big teeth, and like there's kind of like a creepy quality about him. And I mean, he's played a lot of creepy guys in his career, but like he's kind of got this creepy quality about him, which makes him being this movie star even funnier to me, because he's like a little gross kind of feeling. And like the way he's always like swishing his hair and like yelling and like taking up space and like coming up and sniffing the women and being like, one of you smells good. And like, he's just like got that like, ew, like you feel like this guy probably stinks in real life, but like he's got charisma. So I loved watching him.
That's where it's also not just even like movie sets, but it's like community theater or stuff like that, right? I saw kind of like a big fish in a big fish in a small lake, or whatever that terminology is, of just like, yeah, it doesn't have to be like the award winning actor or whatever. It can be the community theater guy that went to New York for a year and came back, or and anyone in those positions that have gotten some sort of notoriety, or I don't know the word, but yeah, so
Notoriety.
That I think it works, right? And that's why I think other people can also relate to the movie, or like athletes, right? In small towns and all that come back and they're still talking about stuff they did way back when. I think that fits in with this, and I think it just fits that he's creepier.
Yeah.
Because it could just be like, because he's on camera, he is gonna have more power or whatever versus versus Wolf, and that's why maybe Wolf is trying too hard with. I mean, their interaction. Can I go? The two of them
so funny together
are I think my favorite, because they're back to back trying to one up each other. Is delightful.
It's really good. Also, really quick side note before I forget, I saw this piece of trivia, which is also interesting. So Brad Pitt was in DiCilio's first film, Johnny Suede, the one that was like not a very good box office, although it looked like it was like received like decently by critics. Just I think it was a flop at the box office, but it had not Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt and Catherine Keener. And so there was a lot of rumors that this character was based on Brad Pitt. And like a lot of people were certain about that. But DiCilio had been asked it before, and he said it was not based on Brad Pitt, and that Brad Pitt was actually offered the role of Chad Palomino and was supposed to play the role, but then couldn't at like the very last minute due to a conflict with Legends of the Fall.
Oh.
And so he wasn't able to do it, but he had like been planning on doing it. So yeah, he said that it wasn't based on Brad Pitt, but I could totally see why like people would think he's based on Brad Pitt because he's got that like big movie star energy and charisma or whatever. But the actor said that he based it on, he was like, no, I took all the mannerisms from another movie star who I worked with who acted just like this on set. So, you know, there's like a lot of speculation.
Looking for the light, right? Like just changing it. That's
yeah,
you could tell like it was so real of just like I'm thinking this, because it's the number one on call sheet or whatever, right? It's
yeah.
like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. It's like, well, we need to put a light there now. Okay, let's do it. And it changes it, and it's like, and that's why I thought it was so funny when they flipped it on him on like the improvising aspect of it. Just, we'll just improvise it and let it go. It's like, that's what you do anyway, right? And that's usually where it shuts people up, where they think they're such hot shit, and then they're put in that scenario and they're walk up.
Yeah. Steve, what's your favorite character? What was your favorite character?
Well, I'm gonna have to say Tito.
Toto. That Catherine Keener kept calling him Toto.
Don't call me Toto. Yeah, it was like, I think out of everything, it was like the most. It was like out of the entire film, in my opinion, that was like the most real acting that like I got him from the whole film. And I know the film is about making a movie, but like that whole scene, it just made me go like, wow, not only was the acting amazing, but it was like a dope scene. Like what was written here and everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, the dream sequence is the most realistic, what's in realism, if you will, right? Of having that. And that's how you can also get away with it, of putting some kind of message, or actually when it's in a comedy, when it's this and that, and just like, this is a truth. This is out there. This is a thing that happens, and it's not right, And you have that message, and hopefully people can see it and understand that. And then you turn around and have the mother come in and be the dream sequence.
God, that was so funny. I loved that the mother came in and just nailed it. And what a great like callback to the beginning with having the mother be in the original scene with her.
And it was the same actress, right?
Yeah, same actress.
Yeah,
she was really good.
That's why I'm also like, all the dreams are just kind of intertwined.
I also loved that there was like one line where he was telling Catherine Keener he was like, I had a dream last night, and it was, it was filled with anxiety about being on set or whatever, and it had some old lady in it, and he like didn't know who the woman was, and then it was when she showed up on set, he was like, Mom, and it was obviously the same woman, and I thought that was really great, because like a lot of times that happens in dreams where like someone looks kind of vaguely familiar, or someone's like, you don't really know who that person is, and or you don't remember who it was. And so I was like, oh, that's cool, because like that's how dreams are. A lot of times you don't remember, or things are unclear.
It's like, it was you, but it wasn't you, but you were my mom. But then then Steve showed up, and he was
a little person, like a small person, and
I also like right after Tito left the set, I like the first AD one, like, so should we like get another small person?
Oh my God, I know, that was so good. She was like, we can look for another little person.
We can call and
like let's just replace the little person. And God, that was good. And I love too that he like sat down and was ready to fully quit the movie. He's like, no, it's over. I'm not doing the movie. And then his mom just walks onto set, is like, I'm ready. And then it's just like, because that's also something I feel like that happens with filmmaking. Is like, I feel like you're hanging on by a thread, and you're like, if one more thing goes wrong, then I'm never making movies again. I'm not meant to do this. Like, I'm quitting. I'm obviously the worst at everything. And then all of a sudden someone's like, you were so great. And you're like, I'm on top of the world. Everything's good again. Like, everything will change in a second.
I'll just go work at a diner.
Yeah, just go. I used to be an actress. And yeah, that was a funny daydream. Well, do you guys have anything else before we do final thoughts?
I don't think so. I think, I mean, it was just such a simple, fun kind of little movie, you know?
Yeah. Okay, let's go right into final thoughts. We'll go backwards this time. I'll start with me. My final thoughts are I really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it even more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. I thought that maybe I'd like it. I didn't know if it'd be for me. I was worried it would maybe be too artistic and like kind of pretentious, and it felt very accessible and very fun. I liked that it leaned into the funny moments, that there were like lots of silly moments that I laughed out loud at. I thought the acting was superb and really fun to see these actors that we know from all of these iconic movies back when they were young in the 90s. I always loved that. And I would definitely rewatch this again. John didn't get to watch it with me, and I think he would really enjoy it. So I'm planning to rewatch it with John at some point. I think he'll really like it and will really appreciate it. And I would recommend this movie to people. The people I would recommend this movie to are definitely people in the industry. If you're in the industry, I'm going to say, like, you should watch this. I would heavily encourage you to watch this because you will appreciate it. You will relate to it. Will most likely enjoy it. So I would strongly recommend it to anyone in the industry. And if you're not in the industry, but you're a lover of comedy, and like commentary, things like this, like what you mentioned, Dino, for your consideration or those kind of movies, I think that then you would still appreciate this. So yeah, I would recommend and I would watch again. Who is next? Steve? Steve, you're next.
Alrighty, just like you mentioned, like as far as like recommendations, I would recommend it to people within the industry or have had any type of connection with the industry. Because again, I don't know how it will actually play out but I'm curious to just see how it plays out with just a person that has absolutely no connection. Uh, but I would then have to watch it with them. So I mean, it defeats the purpose. But overall, I think it's a very enjoyable movie. Um, I think once you get past, certain things in the beginning, uh, you might get very into it, especially once you start to see the relationships and how things are so chaotic and around each other on this particular set. Uh, and Surprisingly, the movie has its funny moments, which I wasn't expecting at all. But overall, great movie. Definitely, I could give it a watch again in the future. I believe so. Those are my final thoughts.
Okay. Dino, what about you?
Oh, we didn't bring it up, but that was the saddest snack table at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like half eaten. I don't know if it was donut or bagel. Really funny line, just which was kind of the catalyst of that first dream, right? Of the milk.
The milk being
Milk is
sour, milk is
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time is it? It is like, oh, I think the milk's bad. Like
Yeah.
the time. But that I would recommend this to a lot of people because it's right there. It's a mockumentary style, which mockumentary seems to be more satire and comedy, and I think this is slightly different. Like I feel like this has more drama to it. Actually, it just is funny because of the wackos in it.
Hmm.
Again, versus Mighty Wind or any of those Christopher Guest movies, but it does fall into what I think like Parks and Rec and like The Office and all those kind of situational workplace uh, comedies really are, that I think a lot of people could enjoy this. Again, it's not a long movie, but I did for a minute when we started watching it. I was like, oh, the black and white, and I was like, where is this going? Are we going? Because I didn't want to read much because I knew Steve Buscemi was in it, and I kind of saw a couple like quick shots of it, and I was like, this seems really interesting, but I don't want to know any backstory.
Hmm.
But then at the same time, when I started watching it, I was like, oh no, is this gonna be super, super like performance art or super just like serious cinema? But no, it's like anti that, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
poking fun of that kind of just that's what the people that try to do like serious this or that, like we think they're like Pomalo, what was the guy's name? Pomamilo.
Yeah.
um,
Palmino or something. Or Palomino. That's it.
Palomino, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and then clearly didn't show up the next day because he had something, and we don't know, right? We don't know what it was. If that was again part of the dream, was
I
it?
think the joke was that which I'm only realizing
Yeah,
right now since you brought it up, but I think the joke was that he maybe got sick from the milk because people were getting sick from the milk,
right. But
which I'm
that's
only
where
realizing now.
everything was kind of tied into a certain
Yeah.
extent. So I don't know if like there was a blow up with him on the day. It
On
was
one of the other
slightly
days,
different.
right?
Yeah. Or him just being difficult, right? Him just saying, I thought he was just pretending to be sick, like hadn't wasn't actually sick. And and again, it's just a thing. Okay, when you have difficult people and you have a star, you have to scramble. That was the thing with Peter, right? When they had to get him last minute to begin with. Um,
Oh
so
yeah, Peter
yeah,
Dinklage, yeah.
so yeah, I'd recommend this to Jason Eccles. I think you would really like this movie if
I
you
think you
hadn't
would really
seen
like
it.
it too, yeah.
But also, like I said, people that might be, if they're fans of any of those actors or even like the writer director that I didn't really know of,
Hmm.
then I would recommend that too. I mean, seeing Steve Buscemi, like everything he's done, like how skinny he was in this. Like I knew he
Hmm.
was skinny, but boy, skinny in this. I would also recommend it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
really happy to have seen this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just have one question, Steve. It's for you. What's going on next week?
Next week, I am so glad you asked. This is the final episode of Cinema Club. We're not doing this anymore. No, I'm kidding. It is Dino's
I was like,
turn.
wait for me to find out.
All right, so I went and picked. I was thinking we were watching a lot of more modern films and a lot of comedies and 90s and
Oh
stuff, and I felt
no.
like I needed to head back a little bit. This was more of a Marina pick, but hey, someone was saying not cool about black and white, so I guess it fits in. Pandora's Box.
Pandora's Box.
It's a 1929 movie. It's part of the Criterion Collection, and yeah, so I just kind of
Wow, 1929.
yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Right
yeah,
before the
I
depression.
someone brought it up in the Criterion closet, and it just seemed interesting, and it's different to what we've been doing lately.
Is it in
And
German?
well, I think it's silent. I think it's just music.
Oh, okay.
29.
That makes
Um,
sense.
but it is a German film,
Yeah.
and we've done some of those black and white German films before. So very interested to see this one.
I like that you said this is a film pick for Marina, which you'd probably hate this, right? Is that the joke?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she doesn't like when we pick black and white films, foreign films in different languages. So
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, here we go.
There you go.
yeah,
So for Michaela, El Don Dino, and Steve Dance TV, we'll catch you next week. Bye bye.
bye bye.